No, but like Battinson, who showed up at the gala in an oversized shirt and jeans and blushing cheeks. Clark Kent, who's there. B.C. Perry hates him and lives for every occasion to torture Clark with rich people. The Prince of Gotham stepped into the room in a comfy Nirvana shirt, sleeves swallowing up his elegant hands with a lot of fractures, and sweatpants. Gray, baggy, but pinching that waist just right to still coax looks, and Clark is looking holy fuck. His super hearing picks up Bruce's answer to a curious journalist. I didn't want to come, and I didn't do my laundry, and I made Alfie mad. No thoughts, only Battinson seeing Oliver losing his shit by the champagne fountain and going straight to him, making grabby hands. Ollie, because he may be a little sleep deprived, who knows, on, what the fuck are you wearing, you loser, LMAO? These are my social anxiety clothes. Clark, in his mind, how can I not fuck him?
I came across the AU idea that Dick Grayson is Richard Parker, and thus Peter Parker's biological father. There are a few fics where Peter Dimension travels to the DC universe and gets to meet his dead father. It is a fun idea, but I have different one. AU where Peter Dimension travels to the DC universe, and the Bat-fam realizes that he is Dick's son, but rather than think he is from another universe, they all come to the conclusion that he is from the future. It makes sense, after all, the rules of time travel basically boil down to don't change anything. So when Peter is avoiding them and pretending not to know them, they just think he is following the rules. He isn't even really avoiding them, he just has no idea who they are. You know how once you have an idea in your head, it take a lot of convince you that you're wrong? Same idea here, they are so convinced of their idea that all new info ends up making them sure. Confirmation bias. So Peter is trying to find a way home while the Bat-fam tries to subtly help him without getting involved in time travel. Hijinks ensue. Peter once mentions his love of photography and how he used to take pictures of heroes for a newspaper. Everyone looks at Tim and thinks, gee, I wonder where he picked up that hobby. At one point Peter pulls an assassin move, and Damien is like, I taught him that for sure. In reality Peter just trained with Natasha and Bucky before. When dealing with some issue Peter says something like, I know a guy with some green angry problems and he taught me a lot about staying calm when mad. Everyone looks at Jason? He just picked up some meditation advice from Bruce Banner. At some point he goes to the manor and everyone is like, ha, more proof. He knows his way around the building. He doesn't know his way around, his spider sense just led him to where people are and kept him from getting lost. He mentions Black Cat once, and everyone comes to the totally logical conclusion that Catwoman had a daughter, and that Peter and Felicia also have a weird almost dating thing going on. Peter has been forced to go to some fancy events with Tony before so he knows how to act at rich people galas, which of course just adds fuel to the time travel theory. Peter keeps accidentally referencing things that don't exist or didn't happen. Everyone just assumes these things didn't happen and don't exist yet.
Bruce wouldn't take a fake relationship with Clark lightly. For whatever reason, they have to pretend to be one in public, whether it be to hide each other's identities or Bruce needs to hide from one of his powerful exes. Bruce physically needs to take care of Clark. Clark may have been raised a gentleman, but Bruce needs to maintain an image. Playboy by day, smooth, gentle, romantic at night. But this, of course, takes a turn when Clark almost believes this act of his. They're at a gala together, talking to a group, when Bruce playfully shares an inside joke while tugging on Clark's waist. It feels so natural and comforting. He almost forgets it's a lie before they get back to the manor and Bruce slips out of the persona, planning their next elaborate date in vivid detail. Bruce may not feel genuine romantic feelings, but he knows how to make people happy, and that's what suits him best. Or so he thinks. Seeing Clark's joy or fake joy, he wasn't sure, was different from his other romances. It made him feel something, which was highly unusual for most of his rendezvous. It almost makes him resist kissing him in front of others, wanting to savor the feeling before washing it away with a lie. What I'm saying is demi-romantic Bruce would go insane.
We don't appreciate the fact that Bruce Wayne is a Kardashian-level celebrity enough. Everyone knows him. I want more one-shots and crack fic moments where the League, pre-identity reveals, just openly talk about Bruce Wayne in front of Batman. Just imagine them playing funk, marry, kill with famous actors and such, and throwing Bruce into the mix. And Batman just sits there, silently suffering as he listens to the reasons why Flash and Lantern would marry, funk, or kill him. He prays they choose kill. They don't. Yes, DC Bruce Wayne. Someone definitely makes an eat the rich joke, and for a wonderful moment he thinks they're going to pick kill. They don't. Barry. Eat the rich. Bruce. Oh, thank God. Clark. Oh, I intend to. Superman explaining why he would marry and absolutely rob Bruce Wayne. Batman. It's Batman's turn. Bruce needs to decide whether to marry himself for the money or throw himself off the cliff. Okay, but can you imagine what kind of identity reveal situation that would be? I would funk blank. I would marry blank, and then I would commit suicide. Batman, that's not how the game is played. You have to choose for Bruce Wayne. I did. What? I would kill Bruce Wayne just to get him out of the conversation. This works best if the reveal comes after literally everyone else has played, and half of the people have said, I'd marry Bruce Wayne for the money. And the other half have not only said that they'd funk him, but been reasonably graphic as to how. Flash. So tall, dark, and scary, what'll it be? Are you going to marry Bruce Wayne so he can fund all of your sick gadgets? Maybe you'll be a gentle lover to him like Aquaman here. Work him over like a hunk of meat like Soups. Or maybe Brucey is the one person in the world you break your code for. Come on, what have you got for us? Batman. Pauses. Honestly, I don't think there will ever be a better time for this. Pulls off his cowl. Justice League horrified screeching. Okay, but imagine this. Batman isn't playing. The rest are all sitting around the table. They're mostly ignoring Batman because he's being broody in the corner like usual. And as they're playing, he takes off his cowl and just waits. And eventually one of them looks over and has a funking heart attack. Please. A Harry Potter alternate universe where potions is taught by Gordon Ramsay. Neville. Messes up his potion. Gordon Ramsay. Holds Neville between two slices of bread. What are you? Neville. An idiot sandwich. No, no, no. Imagine that this is Gordon Ramsay a la MasterChef Jr. Neville. Messes up the potion, realizes it, starts crying quietly. Gordon. What's going on? Neville. Explains how he messed up. Gordon. Oh gosh, okay. We can fix this, don't cry, see? It's fine now. Just be more careful when you're adding the newt's eyes, all right? Drop them in gently. There we go. No more tears. Neville. Giggles wetly, wiping eyes. Yes, he only screams when he's dealing with people that claim to know what they're doing and clearly don't. When he's teaching, he's very kind and patient because they're still learning. He'd probably do the bread thing to Malfoy. No, 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 no. I get that Malfoy is a bit of a twat, but he's still a kid. It'd be the teacher's messing up that he'd have trouble with. Ramsay. All you had to do was treat it with a friggin' Biozar. Slughorn. It was a stressful. Ramsay. How long have you been teaching potions? Or, Ramsay. So you're going to raise this boy specifically so he can die as part of your twisted little scheme? Dumbledore. It's for the greater good, Professor. Ramsay. The greater friggin' good? Holds two slices of bread either side of Dumbledore's face. What are you? Dumbledore. Am I, perchance, an idiot sandwich? Ramsay. Yes, you friggin' are. Okay, now I can reblog it. Idiot sandwich. Fantastic. I'm in love. I must have reblogged 1,000 times. My favorite Gordon Ramsay moment is from the latest season of MasterChef Jr. Gordon had run in to help a group of struggling kids with a team challenge, and one of the older kids, a 12-year-old boy, wasn't passing attention while taking a pan out of the oven and not only spilled all the food, but scalded Gordon. It's clear Gordon's leg is in pain. He's been badly burned without warning. But he doesn't scream. He doesn't yell, not even in pain. And he doesn't go off on the child who is now frozen in fear. He calmly tells the child to set the pan down and to close the oven, safety first. Then tells him to go restart the food he was making, calm instructions. My husband and I grew up in abusive homes, where any mistake meant parents getting angry. My husband is terrified of spills or broken glasses because that meant beatings growing up. For me, anything going wrong, that could upset my mother. Even if it wasn't my fault, meant screaming and emotional abuse. I didn't know someone could be so calm, that someone could not get angry and put aside what they're feeling, in this case a lot of physical pain, and not take it out on those around them, even when someone around them had messed up because that person is a child. Gordon Ramsay is a survivor of child abuse himself, and as an adult, the most non-abusive person ever when it comes to kids. I'm gonna cry. Can Gordon Ramsay be my parent? This sounds so beautiful. Please take a moment to picture Gordon Ramsay taking over potions when Snape becomes the data professor instead of Slughorn, and not only being horrified when he realizes how terrified the students are that he'll verbally abuse them when they mess up in potions class, but when he overhears how Snape treats students. Like, can you imagine the level of rage and contempt that Ramsay would harbor towards Snape? The asshat wouldn't have made it to the end of HBP. Ramsay would have hexed his ass to Kingdom Come. Reblogging all of this because Chef Ramsay is the man. Chef Ramsay would have become the kid's favorite teacher, and you can't take that away from me. Imagine him dealing with umbrage. Every time I reblog this post, I swear to God, it only gets better. Somebody needs to write a fanfic about this. That was absolutely gorgeous. Now, I want to rewrite the rest of the book with Professor Ramsay. At the rate I'm writing these one-shots, maybe I will. And now it's on AO3. Harry Potter and the lack of lamb sauce. Biggest part of this post is the fact everyone is ignoring Gordon Ramsay is a wizard. Such a beautifully written fanfic. All of this is beautiful. I am currently reading this and it's marvelous. Yeah, with kids, he's usually patient. I just found it. Overly invested already. Arjuna is my baby, and so is Bridget and Millicent. It's such a good read. Oh man, my family definitely isn't abusive. But I am terrified to break stuff and screw it up because I'm terrified of getting screamed at. And for being called names, I wish he could be my teacher at something. Gordon Ramsay and Minerva McGonagall teaming up would be a whole new level of epic.
Space, I see you. Danny has a space core. In the beginning he thought he has an ice core. But it turns out that because he had been highly stressed since his death, his core had been underdeveloped and only showed certain aspects to keep him healthy. Years have passed his 14th birthday, death day. He was now 17 and had grown into his core, which had revealed a lot about him. For example, being the ancient of space distorted his entire view of everything. After all, space was everywhere and ever growing, expanding more and more. Danny could feel himself in his physical alpha body, but at the same time he was watching people on the other side of the planet, laughing, dancing, celebrating, crying, being born, dying, mourning, and going about their day. That was only on this Earth he could see every Earth that exists. Earth was such a small part of space. He could feel and see entire solar systems, galaxies, nebulae. More and more, just continuing to expand, never ending. As he got older he could understand more his connection to everything, being able to help life be born on other planets, moving moons towards planets, creating star nurseries, everything at his grasp. This would cause him to let his mind wander away from his physical form, which just looked like he was spaced out. His human form slipping slightly when he does. Freckles gaining a glow and moving to form different constellations, his hair moving like if it were weightless, and his eyes don't stare too long at his eyes. After all, the eyes are the window to the soul, and his hold too much. Look away. Danny casually watches a meteor shower hundreds of light years away, spaced out. Ooh, pretty. The poor goon who thought he could mug a careless teen and stared at his eyes for too long, twitching on the ground, foaming at the mouth. Danny, who hasn't blinked in a few minutes. The pretty space station with heroes in it just made a full orbit on top of us again. Tim next to him, who's just waiting in line for a cup of coffee or three. Panicked side-eyes him. What? Batman. We have to find who's taking out all these criminal. Danny, who looks like a Wayne kid, therefore getting regularly kidnapped, or at least attempted, focusing on making a good star nursery. Shh, I'm concentrating. Villain and his goons dropping like flies. Mercy, just an idea. DPXDC pick me up. The stream goes live on the first day of the school year. It's the usual song and dance, mad laughing, threats, poor jokes, terror, and about 30 kids huddled together in a classroom behind Joker's back. Tim recognizes it as one of the Gotham Academy classrooms. Dick can't imagine the horror those kids' parents must be feeling right now. Jason jokes about middle school traumatic experiences. Damian is feeling very justified for skipping classes today. Bruce, all suited up in his Batman garb, is making his way to the academy as fast as he possibly can. Those are kids. Gotham is once again anxiously kept on the edge of their seats, watching as Joker decides to interview the kids on their learning experience so far. Something about leaving a good first impression on the new generation or some other bullshit. Most kids stutter over their words. It's true that Gothamites are way more composed when facing life-threatening events, but those kids are only 14 or 15 for the most part. They are not old enough to keep their cool in the face of a murder clown. That is, until Joker points his camera at one of the girls. Black hair and a high ponytail, blue eyes without a trace of fear, a slightly displeased, even bored expression on her face. She looks straight into the camera, not even waiting for the laughing madman to finish his question, and deadpans. I don't think I like school. Pick me up, please. Joker sputters. Not so scared, I see, he sneers, and, in the next moment, a comically large gun painted in purples and greens is pointed to the girl's forehead. How about now? The girl scrunches her nose and makes a so-so gesture. It's kinda meh, she admits. Like, yeah, points for style, but you know, size doesn't matter, it's all in the technique. Dick snorts over the comms. It's a bad time for laughing, sure, but the phrase caught him off guard. This is not what you'd expect to hear from a teen, and definitely not something you'd expect anyone to say to the Joker. Jason's comms are muted, but Barbara knows he also laughed a little. Technique, you say? Joker hisses, pressing the gun closer to the girl's head, and she winces, leaning away from it, almost as if she is disgusted by the touch. Yeah, I mean, guns are not that scary anyway. What are you gonna do with them, blast my brains all over the floor? Been there, done that? The girl shrugs. Kinda nasty, but overall, it's just like slime, only sticky. She pauses and looks to the side, seemingly lost in thought. Huh, maybe we should have added borax to it. Or was it baking soda? Listen here, you little brat. Joker's fingers catch the girl's chin, and his voice becomes sickeningly menacing. Bruce is almost there, just 2 more minutes. Tim is already grappling onto the wall, but none of them get to finish. Put your dirty fingers away from my sister. A low, cold, and even in a way that speaks of barely contained fury, voice comes from out of the screen. The camera spins, like whoever is holding it turned really fast, and everyone watching the stream sees a fairly normal guy standing by the window, a turtleneck and ripped jeans, same black hair as the girl, same blue eyes? Wait, they are not blue. And that's not a guy. The camera falls down to the floor, and there are a lot of panicked screams coming from the broadcast now, but none of them sound like children's voices. It's the screams of adults, of grown-ass men, and later, someone even claimed they heard Joker's scream among them too. The picture on camera glitches a few times, and the angle is awkward, but everyone still gets to see how shadows in the room morph into eyes, wide open and green, and how the darkness grows sharp teeth, countless grinning mouths that don't belong to any faces. Screams turn into gargling and then to quiet whispers, filling the ears of all those listening with countless words in languages they don't know. Red Robin turns off the recording and looks to that same guy from the live stream, sitting across him on the couch. The guy, Daniel, or Danny, as he introduced himself, looks him in the eyes and raises an eyebrow. Okay, and? How did you do it? Tim asks for the 3rd time this evening. Danny blinks. Did what? He asks, completely incomprehending. Tim groans. He's been trying to get his answers, any answers at this point, from the guy for 30 fucking minutes already. So far, he's got nothing. Danny, whoever the fuck he is, proves to be the most annoying human being on Earth. 7 people in a coma, including Joker himself, with no physical injuries, and none of the children remember a thing. How? He demands, and a girl's face peeks from around the corner. I remember. Tim snaps his head at her. What do you remember? The girl pauses, blinks, and looks to Danny. Then shrugs. My brother picked me up from school. Tim drops his head down and breathes out in frustration. He can't force the information out of civilians. He is a vigilante, not a mafia. Would it make you feel better if I promise not to do it again? Danny asks, and his voice is way too innocent for Tim to believe him. He raises his head to look the guy in his shameless, amused eyes. I hate you. Thanks, Danny grins.
We're very sorry, sir. The children thought your people were from the government. A small DP/DC prompt Casper High is on a field trip in Gotham. Danny is in the team with Tucker, Quan, and Dash as most of the time. They have a picture hunt around Gotham. After a while, they notice strange people in white following them. White jackets, black ties. As Amity Park kids, they of course thought, these were GIW agents they don't know. Everybody knows Danny is having too much ecto in his system. They sometimes see his eyes change color, no surprise if you think of the Fenton parents' lap safety. So as the people get closer and one of them grabs Danny's arm, Dash hits him before they can speak. They got in a big fight. Penguin gets called 'cause his goons are fighting a school class. Things calmed down quick as Oswald came. The teacher told them to stop. As he was talking to Mr. Lancer, the teacher said, "The children are very sorry. They thought your hench people were part of the government. Penguin's goons are also very sorry. We thought it was a Wayne kid. Penguin has also some questions in his head like, why would high school kids get into a fist fight with the government? And why did the teacher think that was a reasonable explanation?"
DPXDC idea that has been floating around my head for a few months now. Gotham, given its whole thing with Lazurus pools and general bad vibes, has a ghostly representative. Lady Gotham, when she bothers to be Copa real, looks like an influential lady from the 1920s, straight Art Deco elegance. A real classy girl. Jazz is touring college campuses around the US. She has full ride offers from Gotham University, Metropolis College, and Star City State, to name a few. Danny, upon hearing that his sister is going to Gotham of all cities, decides he is going on this trip with her. He might be only 15, but his big sister isn't getting mugged while he has half an afterlife left to live. Lady Gotham is all aflutter. Why the last Ghost King was so frumpy. King Phantom is so handsome and powerful, and he is coming to her city. She absolutely has to show off her best side. She feels like a teenage girl getting her home ready before a new beau comes to visit. She's flustered. She's nervous. Meanwhile, John Constantine wakes up with cosmic alarm bells going off because something really, really bad is happening. He investigates to discover that for the past 3 days Gotham has not had a single crime. No murders, muggings, hell not even a single jaywalker. Gotham, the most cursed place on the North or South American continent, is suddenly more squeaky clean than whatever small farm town Superman grew up in. No crimes, no smog in the air. Crime lords seemingly gone in a puff of smoke, assassins asleep in their beds. It's so freaky. Even Batman is spooked, and he is never spooked by anything. Constantine is certain some demon or other nefarious being is harnessing Gotham's cursed energy for some evil plot, gathering the power to use it like a nuclear blast. Batman is concerned about mass mind control. Lady Gotham is doing the metaphysical equivalent of hiding all of your stuff in a closet before a guest comes over because you don't have time to actually clean. She had to shoulder the thing closed. She just knows that when the lock fails there will be a huge mess. Jazz and her family are just surprised about how nice Gotham U's campus is. She'd heard it was so dark and dangerous, but everyone is smiling and pleasant to her. Danny is just happy Jazz is safe from various villains. So we have Batman investigating his rogues gallery for mind control plots, Constantine hunting for demons, Jazz and her family taking a walking tour of Gotham U, and Lady Gotham using every bit of her ghostly powers to make sure her damned, cursed city doesn't embarrass her in front of her crush.
Someone mildly inconveniences Tim and his phone immediately dings twice. Jason, 2:34 p.m. Yo, do you want me to kill them, Roz? 2:34 p.m. What manner of dispatch would you prefer for your foe? I adore this. Jason, Defo, not Roz. So much in ways y'all do not understand. Gimme more of my Tim J middle siblings duo. Fluffy fluff hurt comfort now. I disagree. Neither Jason nor Roz care a flying fuck about Tim being any kinda inconvenienced. He actually gets at least 6 pings from the Young Justice group chat, with responses varying from, "I'll put an ice cube down their back," Bart, to, "I mean, it kinda sounds like you deserved it," Cassie. This is the only reason why Ra's al Ghul, the head of the demon, immortal eco-terrorist and owner of the only known Lazarus pits that grant immortality, has a phone. That, and to challenge Tim on chess.com. Tim usually ghosts him, though. Plot twist. Tim gets Cass to do it instead. Not 'cause she's ultra creepily protective and stalkish of him, but because she was bored.